Welcome to another episode of the Guide to the Night Sky by PAC. This month, we take you across the sky and show you the various stars and constellations visible for the month of August. The stars and constellations discussed here are relevant at around 8 pm each night for this month, and it is best you explore the skies at 8 pm before the 10th of August or after the 25th of August, as there will be no moonlight to obstruct your view. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow our channel, and if you're on YouTube, a subscribe to our channel and a like to this video would help us reach out to more audience. So let's begin. If you look towards the north this month, you'll see the star Polaris and the remaining stars of the constellation to which the star belongs, that is the Ursa Minor constellation, are also visible this month, as all the stars of Ursa Minor are above Polaris and the constellation is clearly visible. Ursa Minor is called the Laghu Saptarishi Mandala, or the smaller Big Dipper according to the Indian system. And if you'll notice above this constellation, a group of faint stars form a shape of the English alphabet N. This giant constellation or a group of stars that you see right now, under which Ursa Minor is taking refuge in the sky, is the constellation of Draco. Draco is known as the Suyodhana Nakshatrapunja in the Indian system. And if you continue further towards the zenith from north, above Draco, you will see a small group of stars with 4 prominent stars forming a quadrilateral, which is the constellation of Hercules. The remaining stars in this region appear to form the legs and hands of Hercules, and if you observe closely, it appears that Hercules is jumping on the head of Draco as if he was to attack it. With the stars of the north discussed, let's slowly move towards the northeast, and between the north and northeast above the horizon, you should see 5 stars forming an inverted house shape. These 5 stars that form a triangle and a square attached together, or the house shape as we have just mentioned, is the constellation of Cepheus. Cepheus is known as Yudhishthira in the Indian constellation system, and depending upon where you live, that is, if you live in the northern parts of India, you can see 5 more stars very, very close to the horizon below Cepheus, forming a W shape in the sky. If you live in the southern parts of India, then all the 5 stars of this constellation of Cassiopeia are not completely visible yet. Cassiopeia, as we have mentioned in one of our first videos, is the Kunti Nakshatrapunja. And above both of these constellations of Cepheus and Cassiopeia, very close to the zenith, you will see a very bright star shining next to Hercules. Along with this bright star, you have 4 more stars forming a kite shaped with the tail of the kite ending at this bright star, and this constellation that you see there is Lyra. Lyra is the Veena Nakshatrapunja in the Indian system. The bright star is Abhijit or Vega, which is located at 25 light years away from us. Vega is an important star as it is known as zero magnitude star because of its brightness. All the brighter stars have a value lower than 0, and all the fainter stars have a value higher than 0, of which you can see stars up to a magnitude of around 6 with the naked eye. So once you have seen Lyra and Hercules and Draco and Cepheus, at the northeast you will see a giant cross very close to Vega. This cross, formed by 4 stars, seems to be pointing downwards, and the bright star at the lower arm of this cross is the star Deneb. In fact, if you observe this cross and notice, there are a few more stars towards the west and the east and the south, which is towards the zenith at this point. And this figure that you can observe very closely forms the large swan known as Cygnus. The Cygnus constellation is known as Rajahamsa in the Indian system, and the bright star of this constellation, Deneb, is located 1411 light years away from us. In fact, this is one of the farthest stars that the naked eye can see. Below Cygnus, near the horizon in the northeast, you have a small faint constellation of Lacerta, which is imagined to be a chameleon, but the stars are too faint for us to notice any shape. As you move towards the east, very close to the horizon between the northeast and east, you will see 2 stars, which if you connect and form a line, is parallel to the horizon. In fact, if you live in the northern parts of India, you'll find two more stars above this line. And if you are in the southern parts of India, the line is formed by the upper two stars and the lower two stars are yet to rise. Yes, I said two stars and two more stars, which if you connect forms the square of Pegasus. But since in the southern part of India, you will not see this very clearly and it may be obstructed by buildings or trees in the northern parts of India, we will discuss Pegasus in the coming videos. Above Pegasus, next to Cygnus in the eastern direction, you will find a lot of small tiny constellations with very faint stars and they are hard to make out. These constellations are Eculus, Delphinus, Sagitta and Vulpecula. Delphinus is known as the Dhanishta Nakshatra in the Indian system. As you move towards the south from east, at the southeast, you've got two prominent constellations, that is Aquarius and Capricorn, but these also are made up of very faint stars and very hard to notice. But at a point between the east and southeast, high up in the sky, close to the zenith, you will see a bright star shining there, which appears to be in front of Cygnus. The stars Cygnus, Vega, and this bright star that we've just noticed form a triangle in the night sky, and this asterism across three constellations is known as the summer triangle. The asterism summer triangle gets this name because it reaches the zenith at midnight in the months of summer. The bright star, apart from Vega and Cygnus in this triangle, is the star Altair from the constellation of Aquila. Aquila is the Garuda Nakshatra Punja in the Indian system, and Altair is the star Shravana. So, Shravana, Hansakshi, which is Deneb, and Abhijit form the summer triangle, which you can notice this month and for the months to come. Altair is a very close star as it is situated 16 light years away from us. We'll move further towards the south as the constellation of Microscopium and Grus and even Pisces Austrinus are not visible as they rise from the southeast. Since the remaining constellations in the southeast do not appear to be bright enough at this point, we will move further towards the south. In the south, again very close to the horizon, we have the constellation Indus and Ara, but the stars of these constellations are also very faint and very hard to make out. As we face south, notice a point in the sky between the zenith and the southern horizon and ignore all the stars in this region. Look closely and you might notice a faint white patch in the night sky moving from the southwest towards the northeast. This white patch appears to be a bright band in the night sky where you have clear skies and quite hard to notice in the city skies. This is the Milky Way galaxy that we can see from where we are. In the previous video, Dr. A.P. Radhakrishna had explained to us how even though we are in the Milky Way galaxy, we can still see the center of the galaxy, just like how if you're wearing a hat, you can see the edges of the hat. Similarly, the white patch that you see is what gave it the name the Milky Way, as it appears to be a stream of milk flowing across the sky. August is a great month to observe and photograph the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and you also have very bright stars in this region. Firstly, you can clearly see the giant scorpion in the night sky, which we have discussed in the previous month with the star Antares shining from 553 light years away and the star Shola at the tip of the scorpion's tail shining from 571 light years away. But towards the east of Scorpio, you will see a group of 7 to 8 stars, if you notice closely, appears to form a shape of a teapot or a kettle. This group of bright stars is the Sagittarius constellation, and the star in this teapot closest to the tail of Scorpio is the star Caus Australis. Caus Australis is also known as the Purva Ashada Nakshatra and is shining from 143 light years away. If you can notice the teapot clearly, then towards the east you have 4 stars forming the handle of the teapot, of which the farthest star towards the east is the star Nunki, which is shining from 227 light years away, and this is known as Uttarashada Nakshatra in the Indian system. Sagittarius is believed to be a centaur, half human, half horse, and the teapot forms the torso of this centaur. The remaining stars of this centaur, which forms the horse part of the body, are very faint to notice. Above Sagittarius, you've got the constellation of Scutum, but again, very faint stars and hard to notice. Just between Sagittarius and the tail of the Scorpion, if you look between the stars Cos Australis and Shaula, you can observe a very faint but very dense group of stars. If you can notice this, this is the Ptolemy cluster, and this is one of the deep sky objects that you can easily notice with your naked eye. All you need to do is find the giant scorpion in the night sky and just look towards Sagittarius from the edge of its tail, and you will find the Ptolemy cluster. Below Scorpius, you've got the constellation of Norma and Lupus, formed by very faint stars, and just next to Lupus is the giant centaur Centaurus. Centaurus might not appear familiar this month, as half of this constellation has set at the southwestern horizon, and what remains is only the faint stars of Centaurus. In front of Scorpio, you've got towards the west the constellation of Libra, with 4 stars identified to form shape of the physical balance, that is Libra, but these stars are too faint for us to notice. Above Scorpio, just above the star Antares and between Zenith, you've got a giant constellation of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is a character from the Greek mythology who is known to have given medicine and appears to be wrapped by a serpent. Although these stars are very faint and hard to make out, but if you have very clear skies, in front of Ophiuchus towards the west, a small group of stars form the head of the snake, and since this snake is wrapped around Ophiuchus, you'll see the tail of the snake to appear behind Ophiuchus towards the east. This snake forming the Serpent's constellation is the only constellation among the 88 constellations that is split into 2. That is, the head part of the Serpent's constellation and the tail part of the Serpent's constellation are 2 different regions in front and behind Ophiuchus, respectively. These 2 parts of the Serpent's constellation are known as Serpent's cauda and Serpent's caput, which means the serpent's head and tail. Since these stars are not very much bright, we will move slowly towards the west, and you will notice the bright star Spica very close to the horizon. We have discussed in our earlier episodes that the star Spica belongs to the constellation of Virgo. With this, as we move towards the north from west, between the west and the northwest directions, you have another bright star from the constellation of Bootes shining close to the horizon. Above Bootes, you have a string of stars forming a C shape in the sky, which is the Corona Borealis constellation. You also have the constellation of Coma Bersinis and Canes Venatici, but these constellations are also faint. And as we slowly move towards the north from west, at the northwestern horizon, you have the 7 stars of Big Dipper almost setting. As in the coming months, we will notice that Big Dipper will slowly disappear from the night sky as it sets in the northwestern horizon, and the stars of Cassiopeia will slowly appear to be rising from the northeast. With this, we have discussed all the stars and constellations visible for this month, and the Milky Way galaxy, which is a spectacular view under clear night skies, is also at its beauty this month. We hope that the monsoon does allow for some clear night sky views and you enjoy the stars and constellations that we've just discussed this month. This month, we've also got the opposition of Jupiter and Saturn, the 2 gas giants of our solar system, and opposition means these 2 planets are the closest to Earth at these points. As the Earth moves in its orbit, it appears to move towards Saturn and Jupiter in its own orbit, and at this point, these two planets are facing the sun as observed from the night part of the Earth. This means these two planets appear to be the closest and brightest this month, so this would be a great time to observe these two gas giants in the constellation of Aquarius in the eastern sky. So, with all the stars and constellations mentioned, we would also like to mention that this month you can notice a very prominent star in the night sky between the constellation of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Yes, the Draco constellation that has its tail between these two constellations has a star that is just bright enough for us to notice, and this is the star Thuban, which is at 300 light years away from us. This is a very prominent star because once upon a time, about 12,000 years ago, this star was at the place of Polaris. In fact, it would be right to say Thuban was the Dhruva Nakshatra for Earth. If you're wondering what are we talking about, the Earth rotates on its own axis, and right now this axis is pointing towards the star Polaris. That is why as the Earth rotates on its own axis, all the stars appear to move across the sky, circling around Polaris. But this axis is also undergoing a precession, that is like a wobble in a top, and as the axis precesses or wobbles around, this axis points at various different stars in the sky. As the Earth wobbles, this axis, which is now pointing at Polaris, will slowly form a circle in the sky on which the stars Vega and Thuban also lie. So, some archaeologists believe that the Egyptian considered the star Thuban as a prominent star because around 4000 BCE, Thuban was in the place of Polaris and all the stars in the night sky would appear to circle around Thuban. So, you have to notice Thuban this month because in the coming months, along with Big Dipper, as Draco will also rotate in the night sky, Thuban will not be visible. So, August has been a treat with several bright stars and constellations visible, two gas giants of our solar system at opposition, and the bright Milky Way band also visible this month. We hope you noticed all the stars that we've just pointed out and you've enjoyed this ride across the night sky, and we will return in the coming month with a guide to the night sky for September. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of the future videos, and this is Atul signing off, and see you next month. Until then, clear skies.